Well, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching from and if you're watching this as a replay or live. My name is Kelly Abanda, and I want to just chat with you today. We're just going to take a short amount of time, but if you pay attention during these next few minutes of us being together, I'm going to give you some tips that are really going to make a difference for you in your life. And so I'm talking specifically right now to those of us who are feeling overwhelmed, who are feeling like, listen, I have been trying so hard to create the life that I want, and I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. I feel like I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. I'm taking this time in quarantine and in this pandemic, and I'm doing all these things. I'm getting all these books. I've subscribed to podcasts. I've watched webinars. I've done this. I've done that. And yet I still find myself feeling like I am running in circles, like I am not getting to where I want to be. And what I want to talk about today is getting you 3 tips for slowing down and realigning yourself with what your soul actually wants. And the dog wants to say hello. I don't know if you can hear the dog in the background. But I also just want to say there are, for some of you, you'll be able to comment from where you're watching from, and some of you won't. But I'd love to just put in the chat and see if I can see it. Tell me where you're watching from, and tell me one thing that you are feeling overwhelmed about right now in your life. So I'd love to see that from you. Post that in the comments. But yeah, this idea of you are the person who is overly ambitious. You like to always be challenging yourself to grow and do new things and try something new. And it's great. Listen, I totally identify with you. This is me to a T. And so the things that I'm sharing with you today are coming not from like a book that I read, but they're things that I have to remind myself of also as I get myself busy and forgetting to do the things that are actually really important for me. And slowing down in our society, we do not learn how to slow down. So we learn as a society, especially if you are US based, we learn that productivity and growth and advancement, that those are the things that we should really be striving for in life. And so what we learn in turn is that we have to always be productive and busy and going and going and going and going and going. And in fact, what we really need to do is realign with our soul. So the reason that despite all of your activity, you're still feeling like you are drained, you're feeling like you're not getting where you want to go, is because you have not first slowed down and made sure that you're aligning your actions and your activities with what your soul really wants and needs. We don't learn how to do this. We learn how to do what society tells us we should do, how we think we're supposed to find happiness. But in reality, you're created very uniquely, very individually. And if you don't take time to slow down and reconnect with what your soul is telling you you want and need about who you actually want to be, not because it's who you're supposed to be, because you've been told for years or you thought for years that's who you should be, but really in your soul, who is it that you are meant to be? Who is that you are really meant to be, that you want to be? If you don't take time and slow down and then realign your actions and your activities with what your soul, your intuition is actually telling you, then you will always continue to feel the way that you feel right now. You are overwhelmed. You have lots of ideas. You have lots of ambition. But what happens then is you also are following that with overwhelm. You're feeling that with this feeling of, I'm never done. I never can make it to that place. And then if you're always like, I'm never arriving, then when are you ever going to rest? We are not created to be on the go all of the time, but that's what we've been conditioned to do in our society. And so when we're conditioned to do it, we're more comfortable with it. Even if it's the worst thing for us, we've been conditioned to it. So now we're comfortable with it, and we don't know how to start to change that. And so if you have been feeling this way, you are in the exact right place, because I'm going to give you, before we're done today, I'm going to give you 3 tips, very practical. We're actually going to do a couple of them here together today to help you slow down and start the process of realigning with what your soul is really calling you to. So no more subscribing to 1,000 podcasts or having a bunch of ideas of who you might want to become because you think it's an ideal thing, because you've seen somebody else be that way or create that business or do that hobby that you wish you could do. No more of that. We need to come back and align specifically to what your soul is telling you need. Hey, Lisa, I see you. Good to see you here. So that is what we really want to do. And I want to also just invite you to, if what we talk about today sparks something in you, I want to invite you to a 3-month program that we're launching. Actually, Lisa's a part of it. That's called Soul Ignited. And we're going to spend our first month. So a third of our time together is going to be spent just in this slow down process and really reconnecting with our soul. And the intention here is, again, we want to stop going around the same tree in circles and circles and circles, not really getting where we want to go, even though we're being productive and we're doing things in the world, we're learning new things. Because if we haven't aligned back with our soul, it's all for nothing. And you're still going to feel overwhelmed, burned out, never enough. And then if you feel like you're never enough, you feel like you can never rest because there's always more to do. But if we start by this realignment, now we can stop expecting ourselves to do it all. And we can do just the things that we really need to do in order to feel that peace, that sense of accomplishment, that sense of getting to where we really want to go. I am all about helping you live an intentional life and not just floating along. So I think this was an example. Actually, a client said this years ago when we were, not years ago, like I've been doing this for that long, but I think about 2.5 years ago, a client, one of my very first client actually said this. We were talking about life and how you go about life. And I was saying, you need to be very intentional. And she's like, I feel like I've been floating on the lazy river of life, just letting the river lead me wherever it goes. I can relate to that. I did that for many years as well. And instead, what I really want is to be in the rapids where there's excitement, where things are unpredictable, but I've been too scared. So I stay in the lazy river that just floats me wherever it's going to go, because then I don't have to worry about being disappointed, about feeling like I failed, about feeling like I didn't get it right. I don't have to worry about any of that because I'm just like, oh, I'm just letting life happen. But you weren't meant to just let life happen. That is going to get you all the time back to this place of feeling unsatisfied, like it's never enough. There's always more to do. If you take this time to realign with what your soul, your intuition tells you you want and need, in reality, not all the big grand ideas, because we can dream. It's so easy to dream and be like, I would love to be a millionaire. I would love to do this. I would love to become fluent in another language. I would love to start my own business. I would love to. We have to dig deeper than just like, I want these big grand ideas. Why do you want that? What is that going to give you that you don't yet have? Because if you don't start asking those second and third layer questions, you're going to keep going after goals that don't satisfy you. And so what I want to talk about today is helping you to set some intention and to reconnect with that intuition that's really trying to speak to you. You may feel like, I have lost touch with my intuition. Like I don't know how to hear it anymore. I don't think I even have it. I don't know that gut is even talking in my life. Believe me, it is. It's just that you've lost touch with it. So it's like, a friend maybe that you haven't connected with for a long time, and you need to reconnect. And there might be some awkward conversations in the beginning, but if you keep giving that time and space and your attention, it will go back to what it was, or to a place you've never even known before. Your intuition is trying to speak to you, and it has your best interest in heart. It knows what you really need. It's not distracted actually by all the things that we think we're supposed to do. Your intuition is there because it's connected to what you actually really want and need in your gut, in your soul, unrelated to all of those other expectations in the world. So we want to take a few minutes to get back to this place. And so without further ado, let's talk about getting intentional and these 3 tips for slowing down and realigning to your soul. So the first thing that I want you to do, and we're going to do this just briefly together today, but I want you to take these exercises and do them again on your own with more time. Okay. But the first thing is to quiet your space. And so that means if you've got your cell phone by you, put it to the side, make sure it's on silent. If there are people in your area right now, you might ask them to just step out, or you move yourself to another place so that you can really quiet yourself down. This is where I'm saying, like, in your own space, do spend more time doing this, at least 10 minutes. I want you to take a really deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. The purpose of taking really intentional breaths along the way is that you are bringing yourself back into the present. You are getting out of that mind, like the mind racing that happens. Who can relate to mind racing? It happens all the time, right? So taking deep intentional breaths, making sure that the breath comes into your belly, is a way to bring yourself back to the present, back to center, and just make sure that you are clearing out all those things that are a distraction. So in through the nose, hold it, and then out through the mouth. And do that a few times just to center yourself. And then, so that's number one. You're setting aside 10 undisturbed minutes, right? So whatever that needs to be for you so that it's undisturbed, that you can really focus. You need to have a pen and paper with you. So if you don't have one right now, please grab one, because we're going to go through. So this is the one, repeat this after we're done live here. Just take another 10 or 15 minutes for yourself, but we're going to go through it really quickly here because I think your intuition is going to tell you some things while we're together that you can start implementing. So number one, set aside these 10 undisturbed minutes. And then number two, with that pen and paper that you have, there are 3 questions I'm going to have you answer. And each one of them, your answers need to come out, no judgment, not trying to interpret them. Just let your answers come out. This is part of reconnecting with that intuition. You're not judging it. You're not saying it's right or wrong. You're just hearing it and letting it flow through. Okay. So don't try to interpret it. Don't try to make sense of it yet. Don't try to judge it. None of that. You just let it flow. Okay. So here's question number 1. Question number 1 is, what do I need that I do not have or am not getting right now? What do you need that you do not have or are not getting right now? I'll give you a few seconds to answer that. There are so many things that we think that we need, and we run after them. We make ambition to go make something happen because we're like, oh, I need more money. Oh, I need more clothes. Oh, I need more. I need more. I need more. But what do you actually need that you don't have or aren't getting right now? Is it time with loved ones? Is it attention from a specific person in your life? Is it discipline to take care of your body? Is it that you need help making a plan? Is it that you need discipline to do your routine each day? I'm terrible with that. I hate routines. But I don't need a routine. Why do I tell myself I need a routine? What do you need that you do not have or you're not getting right now? Just let that gut tell you. All right. You ready for question number 2? Here it is. What or where am I spinning my wheels unnecessarily? Where are you spending a lot of your mental energy going in circles that maybe you don't need to? How are you spending some time that maybe you don't need to? So for example, I see this with a lot of clients who are parents, especially moms, where, you're really, because you are a great parent and you love your children and you want your children to have the very best life you can possibly give them. And so parents will go above and beyond being like, okay, I need to make these, I don't know if you hear that squeaking. Somebody's cleaning the windows, right? My aunt is cleaning the windows right outside. So, they'll go above and beyond, and I've got to make these really fancy organic meals that are like the top of the health chain. And in reality, yes, you need to make sure your family is healthy, but could you spend less time planning those meals and preparing and creating those meals and instead do something else? Where are you spinning your wheels unnecessarily? Are you spending a lot of time trying to help friends through things? Do you find yourself the one that people call and you spend hours on the phone talking through friends' problems and your friend doesn't even make a change? Maybe you could spend less time helping other people solve their problems and use some of that time to do the things that you really want to do. Where are you spinning your wheels unnecessarily? In that quiet space, let your gut tell you what that is. I have this thing too that I also coach on. It's called substitute goals. So we all know about this idea of should goals, right? Like I should go to college. I should buy a house. I should get married and have children. I should. We know a lot about that. But this idea of substitute goal, I think, is actually way more dangerous. And a substitute goal is something that's good, it's productive, and it might even be in the direction we want to go, but it's the safer goal than the one we really need to do. And so that is a way we can end up spinning our wheels. So I just was having a conversation yesterday with a fellow coach, and we were talking about in our businesses how it's really easy to get ourselves stuck on doing the things that they're good, they're productive in our business, they're necessary, but they're not the things that are going to really propel us forward, but they're safer. So we end up doing those. So we spend way more time than we need to fixing a website or composing an email or, doing things that are really good things, but they're not the things we really need to do that might scare us or push us out of our comfort zone. And so we are substituting something that's good, but it's not really the best thing. That's a way of spinning our wheels. How are you spinning your wheels? And number 3, what to-do list items can I let go of? What's on your to-do list right now that you can let go of? And I want you to think expansively here about your to-do list. So if you've subscribed to all those podcasts and you're like, one day I'm going to catch up on all those podcasts, maybe that's something you can take off your to-do list. If I haven't done it this far, I don't need to. And here's something I really want to challenge you about. And this is why Soul Ignited, we're going to spend that whole first month slowing ourselves down, is because I know that I know that we have a lot of ambition, and signing up for all those really good things is great. But if it ends up just being another form of guilt because you're like, oh yeah, I never caught up with that. If you have listened to 37 podcasts and read 100 books and you've only implemented 10% of what you've learned, maybe it's better to go back and do those things than it is to keep adding new things. That's the problem though, is that's the easy part, is taking in new information. The hard part is implementing it. So that's why in Soul Ignited, we're going to slow it down, reprioritize so that we're not trying to do everything. We're just trying to do the best things. So this third question here is, what to-do list items can you let go of? What things have you been holding yourself to, like, I have to get this done, I have to get this done, that if you really backed up and you were honest, it's not going to matter if you don't get it done. What are those things for you? What to-do items can you let go of? And when you're doing this in the quiet space, because I know right now you're hearing me talk and maybe hearing the dog bark and all of that, but when you are in your quiet space and you really just let your gut, there's no judgment, there's no trying to understand it, you just let your gut say it. There are things that you already know that you can let go of, but you've been holding onto them anyways, because there's something in you that says, if I let go of this, then there's some other kind of fear that may not actually be justified. So this is the third question. All right. So those two things. So you make quiet space, you answer the 3 questions I just gave you, and here is the third tip. Now you just choose one thing to do or not to do to align yourself with what you really need in this season, and then allow yourself to drop the rest. Just start with one thing to do or not to do so that you can align with what you've just discovered in this next season, and allow yourself to drop the rest until a later point. Okay? Choose one thing. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't be like, okay, well, this week then I have to change my diet. I have to go to the gym 7 times. I have to work out at home. I have to create a new exercise plan. Nope. Just one thing. Just one thing that you're going to add in your to-do, or you're going to let go of, so that you can better align with what your gut, your soul is trying to tell you right now. All right. I know that there is so much that you know inside of yourself. You just haven't been spending time listening. And again, I just want to invite you, if you know that this is the beginning of something for you, I want to invite you. I know that there are at least 10 more of you out there who have been waiting for an invitation into something that's going to help you realign with your soul, and to stop striving for things that are not making you happy, that you know you're created for more and you've been settling for less. If this is you, I want to invite you to Soul Ignited. And I'm offering for the people here, there is actually a $50 coupon. You can use the code BEAUTIFUL. You can use that code BEAUTIFUL to get $50 off. There's also payment plans. Listen, I don't want money to be the thing that holds you back. It's not, I mean, I'm telling you, this investment is going to be, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, best money I spent, because now I know the things that I'm doing are actually propelling me to the life that I want, to become the person I really want to be. And I'm not pursuing things anymore that are wants, shoulds, substitutes. I mean, not wants, but like the should and substitutes, right? So you can use this code BEAUTIFUL. The website is down on the bottom. It's designyourdetour.podia.com/soulignited, and would love to see you there. Listen, you have got to slow down in order to hear yourself. Your voice, your intuition, your gut, your soul has been trying to speak to you, but your life is too busy. And that busyness has been causing you to feel like, why do I never feel like I'm progressing even though I'm busy all the time? It's because you're getting busy with the wrong stuff. So use these 3 tips to start the process. This is just the beginning. I've just asked you for 10 minutes of your time, right? So this is the beginning. And if you keep digging into this, you are going to continue to discover that your gut has been wanting you, your intuition has been wanting you for so long to slow down, because it has a voice that needs to be heard. And when you listen and you start shifting your actions in response to that voice, it's incredible. So there's other things that will follow that. There's going to be fears and limiting beliefs that come up. We're also going to talk about that through Soul Ignited, getting through some of those self-sabotaging things like perfectionism, overthinking, all or nothing mentality, never enough. There's so many things, are just all those limiting beliefs that we put on. It's not for me, it's for somebody else. Who do I think I am? All of that. We're going to address that in months 2 and 3 of Soul Ignited. But we're going to start with this slowing down in order to really hear ourselves, so that everything we align in moving forward fits with that. And it's not trying to do everything and be everyone. It's trying to really become who we were created to be and who our soul has been longing to be. We've just gotten too busy to really acknowledge it. So thank you for your time. I look forward to chatting with you. If you've got questions about Soul Ignited, you can just, you can send me a message. You can tag me on Facebook. If you're watching this on a replay, I'd love to hear from you too. Just tell us that you are watching the replay. I am sending the best of thoughts and love and light to you. It is an interesting time in our world, right? And we need people around us who are going to lift us up. And so I'm happy to be that person for you. And I hope that, as you connect more with this community, that you see that you've really got a lot of options here to have love and support and kindness. So we'll chat with you soon.